Now here we go, guys. This is what I was looking for. This is what I was waiting for. We have the Curse Lugia Fan Fridays submission, and I am super hyped to see where it goes. Like, the idea is multi-scale because you get hit ability on transfer. Curse, it's a Gen 2 only TM, and like there's a couple of weird Pokemon that just never got it again, like Lugia. And then you just have ultimate amounts of sustain, because you can actually roost, you got Calm Mind, and then you go into damage, and things get pretty crazy from there. So the plan is just the ultimate in unkillable Lugia, and this is where the war gets crazy. So it's going to be Dragon Dance versus Curse. Who will win? Well, the thing is, I think Lugia has a pretty significant advantage, because all it has to do is just tank out. Like, they both hit +6. Actually, never mind. I was about to say, like, it's not like Zygarde's using Curse. That physical hit is going to punch right through the Zygarde because it's gaining speed instead. If the opponent was using Curse, then Lugia has an advantage if it is a special attacker, because then it Calm Minds and then does crazy damage as well. So now we're going to see which legendary Pokemon is stronger at the +6 on the Curse, or on the attack, but it still doesn't matter because, yeah, like, Lugia gets that one hit and it's gone. So I think the opponent realizes this, goes for the Outrage, but it's already too late. Now, that Outrage was applied with the multi-scale, so we'll do a bit more damage next time, but now just gaining those defenses. And it's a Leftovers on Lugia. Extra filth. Like, how are you going to do anything to the Leftovers on a Curse Calm Mind Lugia? You can't. So that actually comes in for a good amount of damage, but now it's confused, and now it still has, like, nothing on defenses, so it just gets punched right through. I wonder what the offensive option is on the Lugia and where that could go. But right now, Lugia is gaining those sick defenses, and then things are going to go good from here. One thing you could do, and one thing you should do when you're setting up a double, like, defensive strategy like this, is use Calm Mind. You know, once you're at, like, a safe +4 or something, you want to get that Calm Mind in there. That way, if a special attacker comes in, then you're ready for those special attacks. You know, 1 or 2. That way, you're getting the good benefit immediately, and then, like, then you just turn around and win. Or you can go for +6 and then one-shot everything. A little riskier, but still works out pretty well. Lugia, in this situation, especially against an Emboar, I would use the Roost, just see if I could, you know, catch back up to a multi-scale. Yeah, because now they're going to do, like, even less damage. And also now this is when Lugia takes the opportunity to get the Calm Mind, and now if there are any special attackers, it is going to be pretty bad for the opponent. So the thing is, with this submission, I really wanted to see a single battle, because I feel with double battles, there's a lot of weird, cheesy things that can happen. It's like, oh, I'm going to put up a light screen in front of my Curse Lugia. It kind of takes away some of the spirit of it. I just want to see this solo, 6-0, massive carry Lugia, and with that Calm Mind, now Charizard doesn't even have any options. Man, Lugia looks sexy using that Calm Mind. Like, that's pretty cool. It's funny having, like, just two slowly flapping, flying Pokemon hanging out right there. Will be the Charizard Y, so those Calm Minds paying dividends right now. That way, now we're just gonna watch Charizard Y do no damage on top of the Zygarde that was doing decent damage and the Emboar that was doing no damage. I don't know what the opponent was going for. Like, I guess you just keep in the Zygarde and pray for a crit. That was kind of it. And the Blast Burn will miss, so Lugia Calm Minds. And as the opponents are, like, switching, setting up for themselves, trying to do damage, missing attacks, Lugia is healing up on that Leftovers. So now we're going to see what happens at the +3 into the Roost, what the opponent's response is. And that's going to be Blast Burn again. All right. So that's the big hit in Sun. And that's going to be good, but not good enough. As Calm Mind comes in, even more healing for the Lugia. I mean, a Blast Burn from a Charizard Y is like one of the worst case damage special attacks you will ever see. So that's why I would have liked to do the Roost or something, get it full health. I would just abuse. I would just use and abuse that multi-scale whenever I can. Because that's just a free, like, yeah, it's just a free turn. So now we're getting a lot of Calm Minds. We have a lot of Curse. When does the battle close out? Because I think now you just two-shot everything, even at like +4, +5. So Blast Burn comes in, hits a little bit of damage. Calm Mind once again. Going for that max setup. There is a risk you could get crit when trying to set up this much. So that is something to be mindful of. But yeah, you get a little bit of healing in there, and then we see the damage. Maybe it's a special attack from the Lugia. Could be a physical attack. That's where things get a little fancy. Rest. Okay, I was honestly not expecting the rest. I feel that with the amount of setup that we're doing right now, that you just roost until you outpace, especially with that leftovers. I think you can definitely get away with the roost, because now you're actually getting, 9/16 of your health in a turn, and that could be pretty good, especially when, that's the amount of damage the opponents are going to be doing. Even as you're setting up the first couple of Calm Minds and the first couple of stats, that means you're actually able to roost their first hit for the next turn, because Curse pretty much makes you the slowest thing in the game. Their next turn means that, they do the multi-scale damage, as we're seeing right now. And this is when it gets absolutely silly, is when you've reached max stats and leftovers alone is resetting the multi-scale. That is as GG as it could possibly get for this game. That was the crit. Lugia, that actually did nothing for a crit, which is weird to think about. But there's an Ice Beam. Okay, so Lugia is running the Ice Beam, which means it is going to be special attack based. No stab, because, there's not really much you could do. Aeroblast has a low amount of PP, so that's not super reliable. It would suck to do all of this, then PP out. Scald can be water absorbed, also not stab. So I'm thinking the options would be Fly. Can't use Psychic because that's going to be a dark type Pokemon. So yeah. And I guess the rest is good for the Lugia, because if you get Toxic, that is something. So it's a thing. It is a thing, because if you are Toxic, if you are burned, that means you're actually never going to be able to utilize that multi-scale again, because you heal up and at the end of the turn you get ticked away. So that could be problematic. Lugia comes in with that Ice Beam. Zygarde, it's like it didn't even exist at this rate. So yeah, I think that's going to be the biggest thing, is trying to break down where the Pokemon, where the Lugia set falls. The rest does have its massive advantages. You're not spamming, you're not completely abusing that multi-scale, and you are have commission for a couple of turns. But I mean, as we saw right there, you go full health leftovers, and then you still wake up, and you're in a very healthy situation to pretty much one-shot anything from there. So now let's see what we do to the Emboar. Is Emboar going to be a 3-hit KO? Emboar has a lot of hit points. Ice Beam's going to be resisted. It's going to be close. I mean, I guess with a recoil damage move, then that means Emboar will go down on this next Ice Beam. But yeah, that's the opponent's team. After Lugia got that rest in, the opponent's team couldn't even take Lugia back down to half. That's going to be a Wild Charge. That's a super effective hit, by the way. Wild Charge super effective is not nothing to mess around with. But that's kind of it. The recoil actually wasn't even that significant because of what ended up happening. And that's going to be our first Curse Lugia Sweep. Alright, so here we have Lugia, and the question is, what can it do? Well, it has an equal amount of attack and special attack. So yeah, it's what moves can we run on it? The Dragon Rush, that can be immune by Fairy, so it's just dealing around a lot of really weird immunities that could get pretty terrible. A lot of also PP as well, Sky Attack, Aeroblast. Well, I wouldn't really consider Sky Attack, but I mean, Aeroblast, it has a good base power, goes into that good stab, but only 5 PP, to the point where, yeah, Fly is going to be almost better than that. So, run down here. So the problem with Fly is that it can be protected, but I wouldn't be super worried about that, on that water type moves, and man, yeah, it looks like Ice Beam is the best option for just reliability. I think that Fly wouldn't be as bad, because Protect isn't as common as a water absorb Pokemon, especially singles Protect. We do see it from time to time, and that just ends the strategy entirely right there. Facade maybe on the Tailwind set, because if you're using Ice Beam, that's not a lot, and then Return, but I mean, that's Ghost type immunity. So yeah, Ice Beam is the most consistent, reliable one, but it doesn't find a lot of neutrals, and so that's not that great. But let's go and check out another battle. We got the same team setup. I don't know what the Steelix is doing in there. Maybe the Mega Steelix makes things a bit interesting. There's an Aganadel on the opponent's side. There's Gyarados. We're gonna see the same thing again, where it's all right, bluff out that Dragon Dance, but then Lugia is hey, you don't have defense. I get to live. So that's it. I just wanted to see this I mostly just wanted to see this to see how tanky Lugia got. We have a legendary Pokemon that's maximizing its defenses. That was already a tanky boy to begin with. So, I mean, Lugia just takes that to the next level. And we even saw, you know, the opponent was trying as best as he could, but we were at the multi-scale leftovers infinite heal. Lugia, though, that's I don't even know how to describe that. That is silnanigans. That is silly shenanigans right there. Why Ice Beam? I'm going to say misclick. It's like, you don't play around with that. You know that Gyarados is going for the dragon. I love it. I love how he megas and then immediately gets frozen into that animation. I haven't seen that before. So now Lugia gets that curse going, takes the hacks, and starts running away with it. I mean, 10% chance of silliness. But yeah, you know that Gyarados has one thing on its mind. That's Dragon Dancing and try to go for a sweep. Especially against tankier Pokemon like this. What's Lugia going to do to take down the Gyarados? So that's going to be multiple curses right there. That means this Lugia is a little better suited to go up against Special Attacker because can turn some damage. But for the most part, you do want to be at least +4 defense, +4 special defense before you take the damage. And that is going to be the switch out right there. I mean, it's a lose-lose scenario. Because, yeah, now it's like, okay, Lugia either gets tons of stats off the Gyarados, and you hope Gyarados thaws out, or you have to, you know, use that turn to switch. And if the opponent can't close it out with these two other Pokemon, then that means Gyarados, it's frozen. It's going to be a free kill. But now, the opponent actually trying to take this one. Oh, wait, this is actually going to get pretty scary. So we got the Devastating Drake. Is that the Z Draco Meteor onto the Lugia? Does Lugia actually have the ability to survive something like this? Huh. Oh, wait, I was about to say multi-scale. That multi-scale is so dumb. So dumb. Like, is that... was that Z Dragon Claw? Like, that's what I would expect from the amount of damage that Lugia took, but no. People are terrified of the Ganondorf, but it's not really that scary of a Pokemon. So now it's got the Nasty Plot. And even then, like, Devastating Drake gets that multiplicative damage. Lugia's getting those Calm Minds in the face of this. So now it's just going to be a neutral Draco Meteor. Even if he, like, goes to +6 in theory, you know, that's not going to be enough to take down Lugia just from the previous damage calcs that we've seen. The whole time the opponent's setting up, that's going to be leftovers. And you just can't outpace the Lugia. So now going for that Sludge Wave. Getting that 30% chance to poison would actually be better than risking everything on Draco Meteor. Because you throw out the Draco Meteor, and it's not going to work. And now Lugia is already at +3 on a super effective hit, so you're dead anyways. So the Draco Meteor might have been best to try to tag some damage to go for some finishing blow on the Lugia. But other than that, I don't think it's happening. So that's going to be Mimikyu coming in right now. Are we going to see... I don't even know what we could see. You know, Mimikyu goes for that Swords Dance. Lugia already has the defenses. So you break Disguise... it could get a little scary, but I mean, yeah, like the first thing you do is break the Disguise. That way you have like room to play with the Mimikyu. I see the Ice Beam being a 2-shot in its current state. Maybe, and then you can't rest. I was like, this would be a Roost situation because the opponent hit. Nah, I don't know what you'd get locked into right now and how much damage that Shadow Claw is going to do because +2. Lugia's a Psychic type. Should have used Shadow Claw. So play rough, solid damage. Shadow Claw would have been a bit more, but still survivable. And then that's a Life Orb Mimikyu. Dang. So Ice Beam, critical hit. I don't think the crit. Oh, that matters. Kind of. What is that turn? So we got a first turn freeze, and then we got the freeze crit. Unlucky opponent, but at some point, you know, it doesn't really matter too much. Because Lugia survives, gets the Ice Beam, or yeah, gets the Ice Beam. That's a KO. Leftovers heals it up. That means it can rest in the face of the Gyarados and not have to worry. Gyarados goes for 2 turns of Dragon Dance, hits the Lugia on Wake Up, multi-scale, just ignores all the damage, and then it doesn't matter. So there we go, guys. Gyarados frozen solid. Lugia has to try its best with these Ice Beams. Oh, that has no damage. Gyarados is tanky, especially as a water type with that resisted hit. You might as well just take Lugia to +6 and hope for the best. I think that's all you can do in this situation. Wow, getting like the maximum freeze though. Even though there is no limit on freeze, you're frozen until that 20% chance rolls. And if you're unlucky, you're never unfreezing again. Gyarados is frozen solid. How long is this madness going to last? So I'm out of commentary. You don't plan for something like this. That is like a weird thing that happens with stall battles. Like for the most part, you have an indestructible Pokemon doing destructive amounts of damage, but then you just get that heavy tank that resists your one offensive move, and it leads to something like this. And Gyarados can't even do anything else. All right, 2 more hits? I think the question is, does Gyarados just die? Like, does it ever get to move again? Not frozen solid. Are we going to get the full freeze? Dude, Gyarados being frozen in an entire game is kind of like the craziest thing I've ever heard. That's a 17-turn freeze in theory, because even though he was switched out, he was still frozen that entire time. Gyarados, frozen solid, and that is going to be the game right there. So guys, enjoyed Fan Fridays. We got to see some awesome stuff. I'm happy to see my singles Lugia showing the tankiness that I believed in against some of the scarier Pokemon that you could face. That's going to be it. So guys, enjoyed Fan Fridays. You guys, have a great day. Have a great week. Have a great weekend. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. I think that's good.